unmistakable turbocharger whistle, the English Electric Type 4, later to become the Class 40s. One of the true giants of the 1950s British Railways Modernisation Plan, and today I'm telling their story through 4 of my Lima models. Hi and welcome. The Class 40s, often affectionately known as the Whistlers, became one of the most recognisable locomotive classes of the 1950s and 60s. But their origins actually stretch back to the closing years of the Second World War, when Britain's railways were already looking beyond steam. The Southern Railway began experimenting with large diesel-electric prototypes, numbers 10201, 202 and 203. And those early 1600 horsepower machines, and in 10203's case 2000 horsepower, directly influenced what became the English Electric Type 4. These early locomotives used the English Electric 16 SVT engine and rode on distinctive 1 Coco 1 bogies to reduce axle loading. They were in many ways the blueprint. In 1955, British Railways launched its Modernisation Plan and ordered a wide range of diesel prototypes from UK manufacturers. English Electric proposed a 2000 horsepower development of the Southern Region concept and a restyled LMS 10,000, but far more imposing. The locomotive's engineering represented a conservative but proven British diesel technology. The result was the first of what would become the Class 40s. They used the proven 16 SVT engine in its Mark II form. Reliable, very reliable, but in a locomotive weighing 135 tonnes, 2000 horsepower would define both their strength and their limitation. Top speed was 90 miles an hour and a tractive effort of 52,000 pounds. Locos D200 to 324 were fitted with steam-style disc train identification. By the time D325 to 344 were constructed, this had been changed to a 4-character alphanumeric headcode system split either side of the front gangway door. By 1961, when the front gangway doors were deemed obsolete, Locos D345 to 399 were built with a solid 4-character headcode box with no gangway doors, resulting in a far less drafty cab. However, in 1965, the Haymarket-based locomotives D260 to 266 were converted to having no gangway doors and 4-digit headcode boxes to reduce drafts. No doubt the Scottish winters brought this change about. Initially vacuum braked only, by the 70s the class were fitted with dual brake systems, but the train heating remained steam, apart from one short-lived ETH experiment with D255. They were powerful machines, but not that quick off the mark, and this was noticed by the railway press at the time. The first batch of 10 locomotives, beginning with D200, entered service way back in March 1958. Half were allocated to the Great Northern region, working from King's Cross, on services such as the Flying Scotsman and the Master Cutler. The others went to the Great Eastern, operating from Liverpool Street to Cambridge, Ipswich and Norwich. The public loved their modern presence, but drivers knew they weren't quite as quick as they'd hoped. Still, their reliability counted for a great deal in a railway transitioning away from steam. Before long, a further 190 were ordered in several batches spreading across England and Scotland. They hauled prestige passenger services from Euston to the northwest and Scotland until electrification south of Crewe in the mid-1960s pushed them further north. In 1967, the more powerful 2,700 horsepower Class 50s took over accelerated Anglo-Scottish duties north of Crewe. And in the Pennines, Salzer Type 4s, the Class 45s, 46s and 47s, gradually displaced them from Tram's Pennine work. Progress was relentless. From the late 1960s, the Class 40 became the preferred traction for the Royal Train, a mark of how trusted and dependable they were. But when the new air-conditioned coaching stock required electric train heating, their steam-only heating system sealed their fate for this prestigious duty. In 1963, D326, later numbered 40126, was at the head of the train involved in what the press chose to call the Great Train Robbery. There was nothing great about it. The violence inflicted on the railwaymen and postal staff that night should never be forgotten. They weren't jolly pirates, they were cold, vicious criminals. By the late 1970s, recession had reduced freight traffic sharply. New locomotives were entering service too. Withdrawals of the Class 40s began in 1976. In 1980, a fleet rundown programme was announced, resulting in perfectly serviceable locomotives being switched off for good, including the pioneer of the class. 4122, formerly D200, was withdrawn in August 1981. Many assumed that she would enter the National Collection immediately, but initially the National Railway Museum declined. A campaign led by Rail Staff Enthusiast magazine and supported by BR Chairman Sir Peter Parker secured her reprieve. D200 was reinstated. At Totton Traction and Maintenance Depot, apprentices restored her back to her original dark Brunswick green with full yellow ends. In April 1983, she returned to traffic, proudly carrying both numbers, D200 and 4122. And that's how I saw her at Romsey in 1987. The light was failing, our plans had to change, but I managed 3 rather grainy 1600 ASA photographs. You're seeing her leaving Romsey towards Southampton. And now you know why I simply had to own a model of her. Almost exactly 30 years after first entering service, in April 1988, the National Railway Museum revised its position. D200 took her rightful place in the National Collection, preserved for future generations. Today I'm featuring 4 Lima examples from my collection. D205, catalogue number L205064, released in 1989 and joining my fleet in 2003, representing the original condition of the class with headcode discs and gangway doors. D200 40122, catalogue number L205200, released in 1988. I got her in 1989, of course representing the pioneer loco of the class and the NRM preserved example. D334, catalogue number L205065, released in 1989 and arriving with me in 2026 to make this video, representing the middle condition of the class with split headcode either side of the gangway doors. And D261, catalogue number L205060, released in 1988, arriving with me in 2003. She represents the latest version of the class with no gangway doors and full character headcode box. However, she was one of the Haymarket locos converted in 1965. Lima really captured the presence of the Class 40s, the sheer bulk, the distinctive nose profile, and impressively they engineered bespoke bogies and gearing, even incorporating pickups from the pony wheels, quite advanced for the time. For a late 1980s tooling, they still stand proudly today. Much of the real Class 40 audio featured in this video comes from the YouTube channel featured on your screen now. Please do go and support his remarkable channel. The Class 40s may not have been the most powerful of their era, but they were dependable, they were imposing, and they marked a turning point in British mainline traction. And thanks to preservation and a few rather good Lima models, the sights and sound still lives on. 7 Class 40s, including D200, have been preserved and can be found on several heritage lines, 2 of them being cleared for mainline working. Now then, to end this video, I'm presenting all 4 40s running with different trains, with no talking from me and just the specially amplified sounds of the models running. Someone commented that they didn't think my Lima models were standard and I must have upgraded them. Well, not at all. Just given them the one-off service I developed some time ago. What a really interesting locomotive the Class 40s are. Remember, if you liked this video, please click that hype button and like and subscribe as it really helps the channel. Cheers for now.